Blankenship's production, has been exceptional for an undrafted free agent. I mean, I would say the money problem though is, do you have a $7.5 to $8 million player, or do you have a $14.5 to $15 million player?
All day, baby. You know that.
Let's hunt.
If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground.
Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight.
Get the nothing!
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you're here?
Let the games begin.
This is where we hold them! This is where we fight! This is where they die!
Contracts, and just let us know what you got, what you know, and what we expect in the coming future of possibly who's going to be, get a payday.
Exciting Mike's co-host, Reed Blankenship, should be receiving a contract extension in the coming months. The guaranteed money's up. The signs all point towards it. He's been asked about it a couple times. Has been given pretty cute answers. I think the struggle with Reed is trying to find a number.
Yeah, I was about to say, where do you think his number sits?
Man, I've heard some high numbers and I've heard some lower numbers, so I don't know. I've heard some people.
Is he a locker room leader, you think? Is he a locker room leader at this point?
From what I understand, Blankenship was the vocal leader outside of Nakobe Dean for the championship run. So last year, the most important player vocally outside of Nakobe Dean was Blankenship. So
yeah, I was about to say, I feel like he's going to take on that role a little bit.
Nate, you probably explain better. I mean, as far as a vocal leader goes, we're not talking about you're not the best player in the team, but you're putting guys where they need to be. When everybody needs to be at that time, and he is that guy through and through. So
for sure, yeah. When I talked about Reed, I've always liked Reed because he's always typically in the right spot at the right time. And I felt like he's a sure enough tackler now. The more he's got
a couple over pursuits that have resulted in
here and there. But I think for the most part, when he's around the ball, he's going to bring the guy to the ground for the most part. And I think he's a little bit bigger than I think people think he is.
He is.
I think he's a legit like 6'3", right? 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, he's got size to him.
Yeah.
That size results in a lack of top speed. Which
he's not a super athlete. He's not one of those crazy
TJ Edwards of safety. And I know TJ Edwards is a weird example, but TJ left the Eagles for the Bears, got paid, and
but he's a smart player.
Exactly. And so if your brain turn your feet before your feet can think, I believe is the way it's put, then you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
So like I said, if your brain can turn your feet faster than your feet can think, then you'll be okay. And that's where TJ Edwards and Reed Blankenship live, is just being in the right spot at the right time, because they have that much game knowledge, for him.
And for the most part, he's been pretty reliable on the field.
Kind of been exceptionally productive if you look at it. I think it's like 11 total interceptions or something like that over the years.
Yeah, I think, yeah. He's
been exceptionally productive to be a player that we don't consider. Yeah. A lot of people said, "Oh, you trade CJ and you're left with Blankenship. Like, this is all you have." And it's like, well, wait a minute. I mean, Blankenship's production, has been exceptional for an undrafted free agent. I mean, I would say the money problem though is, do you have a $7.5 to $8 million player, or do you have a $14.5 to $15 million player? And I want to say the numbers tell me more of a $15 million player. And it's an odd argument to get to, because it's odd from Reed's standpoint. He's not a drafted player. He's an undrafted player. This will technically be his third contract, not his second contract, even though his second contract came as just like whoa, you made the team and you lasted a year. Oh, my goodness, we got to pay you. Same thing happened with TJ Edwards, although they let TJ Edwards walk, and TJ Edwards got sub-market value. The problem is TJ Edwards could have gotten more than that. So what does Blankenship want to do? As far as I understand, he's not going to play the season without a new contract. So I would assume they're going to gauge this thing out before, week one. But like I said, it's anywhere from 8 to 15. And I think it's somewhere more in the middle. I could see a 12.5 AAV kind of thing. I just think the structure for Reed will be more similar to Zach Bond. And it will be more of a 2-year commitment as opposed to a 3-year commitment or a 4-year commitment like AJ and Cam Jorgen's contracts are set up.
I can see 3 years, right? I'm looking at his numbers now. He's 26. He doesn't have a lot of miles
Numbers
on him.
are better than you think they are. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, when did he come in 21 or 22? Because I see 3 seasons, but
21.
But it looks like
21 was the 20. No, well, 20.
It says he's 4 years. He's a 4-year freshman.
Yeah, it should be 2023 or 2022 was it should have been his first snaps on the field. The year he was a rookie UDFA and they went to the Super Bowl. And then last year he was a starter, and then this year he was a starter, and then last year he played on a new contract. So at the end of 2022, because he was an undrafted free agent, they had to revise his contract.
40 games over 3 years, last 15 games. And 8 picks over those 3 years, 7 in the last 2 years. So
we're really looking at 2023 and 24. That's the
yeah. Those are the numbers you really want to.
The 2022 year was the year that he picked off Aaron Rodgers on week 2 or week 3, subbed in, and he picked him off on the read. So he was the only undrafted rookie to ever intercept Aaron Rodgers so far. I mean, he's still going to play.
Yeah, and and when you go off those 2 numbers, I mean, he's been very productive, and like you said,
Blankenship from an interception, from a turnover standpoint, has been highly exceptional compared to most safeties, and that's where it gets awkward because his physical testing is nowhere close to somebody like a C.J. Gardner-Johnson or an Andrew Makuba or even a Sidney Brown. But his production is exceptional, and he's putting the Eagles in a real hard spot, I can tell you that. But he's also not, from what I understand, he's not pushing for a ton of money. He's letting his agent handle the most. But his agent's going to get him what he can because I think this is probably going to be one of those one contract players as far as one extension player.
Yeah, let me see what the I think I have some back end PFF grade, even though, just give us some filler about where Reed Blankenship. While I'm looking at this up, any other information on any other contracts that you know of?
No,
so
since
far?
Bryce Huff's been traded, Cam Jorgen's extended, Reed Blankenship is the only low-hanging fruit on the Eagles right now. I mean, there's no trade rumors. There's some stuff about TJ Watt. My argument to Eagles fans is make it make sense for me. So if you can make it make sense for me, then yeah, we can have a talk about it. But I will say though, I have said on a previous podcast, I did not think there was a fart of a chance that TJ Watt was moved. I will increase that to 3 farts of a chance that TJ Watt is moved. So.
All right, so I'll share my screen real quick of some back end stuff with PFF to see where you have him ranked. Where is he at? Safety 29th out of 28. Again, this is all PFF grade. Have him ranked, like I said, what was it? 28th out of 98 graded safeties. It looks like.
See, the thing about PFF,
and then you can see the career years.
Yeah, PFF won't.
I'm not saying it's all be all, but it gives us like a baseline.
I think he's the ultimate anti-PFF player though, because he doesn't meet any of these metrics. None of these metrics say give me $12.5 million. Not a single one on here says give me $12.5 million.
Yeah.
But you go look at the production, you put on the tape, old school ball, and you say, shit, who the fuck ain't paying this guy?
And like you said, undrafted. I mean, he got a status. It's not like he's, like a slouch.
Yeah, it shows they respect him, but the grades don't say that. How do you give somebody a 69, a 69, a 71? It comes up to an A status.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a D in my book.
Technically he's gotten worse, right?
And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. It just doesn't reflect the player. What size do they have him at though? 6'2.5",
6'1".
6'1".
Yeah,
And what,
I looked on
208?
ESPN. They have him at 6'1". He looks like he's taller than 6'1". He looks like he's
I'm about to
closer
say,
to 6'2".
I'm tall. He's taller than 6 foot.
Yeah,
Like
I've never
more than
met
6
him or
foot.
been next
He's
to
more
him.
than
So
6'1", bro. He's not.
I feel like
I
he's a little
mean,
bit more 6'2".
at
Unless some
least,
of the because
at least.
you know how they're funny with those. You know how they're funny with some of
Well, I
those.
mean, what's Kevin Durant now? 7'3", but we still call him 6'10".
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's not bad. 40 sacks. 40th and where is he? This is the moneymaker right here, though. Right, from a safety perspective. Almost breaking top 5 in interceptions with 4.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, man. His numbers, I don't know. I marked that up as football player.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the dude's just
Just wanted to throw
football.
out. I had a couple.
What's interesting though, because I mean, I would agree.
A
His
couple
number,
factors.
his number is the complex part. I can't get any gauge on that. I mean, I asked
Yep.
what should the number be, and then the question is, well, what would you do? I mean, fuck, I don't know. I get to do what he wants.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, and I think you asked the question before about Reed and how that does in the locker room when you got a guy who's the vocal leader, but technically not the best player on the team, but he's the guy that he can rally the guys around him, and he's he makes up his lack of athletic ability with his head.
Well, he's got all the tangibles.
And I think
the
as long as
thing is, he's got production. So
yeah, but this the production matches the intangibles.
Like it's like I don't, you're not the guy on paper, but after the game, I'm looking at it, I'm going, shit, you were the one putting in the work.
Thing.
I mean,
he did his thing for sure.
Advanced metrics aren't Reed Blankenship's friend, but old school football is, and I think he's one of those just undeniable football guys. The dude just, you meet him, he's cool as fuck, laid back, just loves the game. And it shows that he loves the game.